Have you ever dug through your pocket change and found a coin that just felt special? Maybe you thought, this penny's gotta be worth something. Well, buckle up because today, I'm about to tell you the story of a penny that could have you looking at your change in a whole new light. Imagine a penny that could fetch a cool $1 million. Sounds like something out of a coin collector's wildest dreams, right? But this is no joke, it's actually a real possibility. We're talking about the 2006 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, you'll want to hear about how this tiny little copper circle can pack such a big punch. Alright, let's break this down. You're probably thinking, wait, how on earth is a penny worth $1 million? Well, it's all about rarity, condition, and a few other factors that make some coins stand out from the rest. But first, a little backstory. Back in 2006, the U.S. Mint released a series of pennies to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Most of us probably didn't even notice it happening. We grabbed our change, tossed it in a jar, and went on with our lives. But what if I told you there's a rare variation of the 2006 penny that, if it's in the right condition, could be worth more than a typical coin collector's stash? Now, I'm sure you're wondering what makes this penny so special. It comes down to something called the double die error. Essentially, this means that the minting process went a little, well, wrong. Instead of stamping the coin once, the die that strikes the penny accidentally struck it a second time, which caused certain details, like the date or the inscription, to appear doubled or blurry. This error is super rare, and when a coin is this unique, the value can skyrocket. Some collectors are willing to pay big bucks for these types of mistakes. Well, the value of these 2006 Mint Mark pennies can range quite a bit. If you have one that's in perfect condition and it's got that double die error, you might be looking at anywhere from a few $100s to, yes, even $1 million. It all depends on the quality, how noticeable the error is, and how desperate collectors are to add it to their collection. The more pristine it is, the higher the price tag. Great, I've got a jar of pennies sitting at home. How do I know if I've struck gold? Well, here's where things get fun, and a little funny. I've been in your shoes before, flipping through my own change, thinking I've found something rare, only to later find out it was just a regular penny. Not quite the jackpot I was hoping for, but don't get discouraged. Check your pennies for key signs of the error, look for the doubling on the date or other inscriptions. If you find something that looks off, don't just toss it back into your pocket. Do a little research, maybe even have it professionally graded. It might just be the treasure you've been waiting for. So, to wrap it up, the 2006 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a true hidden gem in the coin world, and if you happen to find one with a double die error in mint condition, you could be sitting on a fortune. But don't just take my word for it, go out there, grab your pocket change, and start looking. Who knows? That penny you've been ignoring for years could be worth a whole lot more than you thought. Before I leave you to go on your penny hunt, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips on coins worth money, along with strategies that could have you collecting like a pro. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next hidden treasure I'm about to share. Alright, let's just get this out of the way right now. Yes, you read that right. There's a Lincoln penny from 1986 that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million today. And no, I'm not pulling your leg. But, before you start diving into your old penny jars, there's more to this than meets the eye. Stick with me and let's figure out why this tiny coin could mean big bucks. So, here's the deal, we're talking about the 1986 penny. Not the one you picked up at the store last week or the one sitting in your pocket right now. Nope, this is a super rare error coin, and it's not just any mistake. This penny is missing a mint mark. Now, I can already hear you asking, wait, don't all pennies have a mint mark? Well, usually, yes. Most pennies have a tiny D or S on them to show which mint they came from. But the 1986 penny with no mint mark? That's the kicker. It's like finding a rare Pokemon in your backyard, a lucky, 1 in a million find. But why does this matter? Here's the thing, in 1986, the Philadelphia Mint was making pennies, but for some odd reason, a batch of them rolled out without the mint mark. It was a huge error. As a result, those no mint mark pennies became highly sought after by collectors, who are willing to pay a pretty penny, pun intended, for one of these elusive coins. Now, the value of these coins can vary. Most 1986 pennies you'll find in your pocket today are worth, well, exactly what they say on the label, 1 cent. But the mint markless version? Those could fetch anywhere from a few $100 to over $1 million, depending on their condition. Here's a little comparison for you. Let's say you find a penny with some wear and tear, like maybe it's been through a few too many coin tosses or spent a couple of decades under the couch cushions. In that case, it might be worth a few $100, which is still pretty impressive for a penny. However, if that coin is in mint condition, shiny and unscathed by time, we're talking the potential for some serious cash. In fact, in 2021, one of these pennies sold at auction for a whopping $1.1 million. I mean, can you even imagine? A single penny changing someone's life like that? It's enough to make you want to go through every single penny you've ever owned and check it for flaws. And speaking of which, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was going through my coin jar, honestly, just trying to find enough change to buy a coffee, and guess what I found? An old coin, kind of worn out, but with a mint mark I hadn't seen before. Turns out, it wasn't worth anything crazy, but for a moment there, I thought I had struck gold. I had to laugh at myself when I realized it was just a regular old penny. Still, it got me thinking about the rare stuff out there. If I'd found something like that 1986 penny with no mint mark, I'd probably still be sitting on the beach somewhere sipping a pina colada right now. If you happen to find a 1986 penny with no mint mark, don't just toss it in your change jar. It could be worth more than you think. But hey, don't go on a wild penny hunt just yet. The chances of finding one of these rare pennies are slim, but if you do, you could be in for a huge payout. Now, before you start raiding your piggy banks, remember that collecting coins is all about knowing what to look for and having a little bit of luck on your side. So, if you want to stay on top of all the latest tips and tricks about valuable coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll keep you updated on the stuff that could turn your spare change into something much, much bigger. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting for those hidden treasures. And remember, even a penny can make a fortune if you know where to look. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and curious folks? I know you're sitting there, maybe sipping your morning coffee, thinking, what's the deal with old pennies? Aren't they just, pennies? Well, hold on to your wallets, because I've got something that'll blow your mind today. Did you know there's a penny out there, just one little coin, that could be worth a staggering $1.20 million? Yep, you heard that right, $1.2 million for a penny. And no, it's not some weird collector's myth. I'm talking about the 1988 penny without a mint mark. So, sit back, relax, and let me take you through the wild world of rare coins. Alright, let's get into it. So, you've probably seen a bunch of pennies in your change jar. Some are shiny, some are a little worse for wear, and let's be real, most of them don't even make it out of your pocket. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, yeah, one of the ones you probably ignore, could make you a millionaire? Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Really? But, trust me on this one. We're talking about the 1988 Lincoln penny. But here's the twist, it's a 1988 penny that doesn't have a mint mark. Mint marks are the little letters, like D or S, stamped on coins to show where they were made. Most of the 1988 pennies you'll find have the usual mint mark, but there's a very rare version of the 1988 penny that doesn't. And that's where the magic happens. Why is this penny so special? Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that these pennies were never supposed to be minted without a mark. In fact, some people think they're like an accidental masterpiece. They're the kind of coin that might have slipped through the cracks, never meant to exist in the first place. But once it got out there, well, it became a coin collector's dream. Now, you might be asking, how do I spot one of these bad boys? Great question. It's all about the details. If you've got a 1988 penny, look closely at the back. You should see where it was made, either Denver or San Francisco. But, if it's blank, with no mint mark, you've got a rare gem on your hands, and it's not just any rare coin, it's the kind of coin that can go for serious money. Like, serious money. We're talking about prices that start in the thousands and can easily reach $1.2 million at auction. You heard that right. A coin worth more than some houses. And trust me, it's not a fluke. These things pop up at auctions and drive collectors wild, with prices climbing into the stratosphere. So how do you cash in on this? Simple, get that penny appraised by a professional. If you think you've got one of these rare, no mint mark pennies, don't just sit on it like it's a regular old copper coin. Get it checked out. You could be sitting on a gold mine, well, technically, copper, but still a gold mine. Now, I know what you're thinking, what if I don't have a 1988 penny with no mint mark? What do I do then? Don't worry. That doesn't mean your coin collection is a lost cause. There are tons of other rare coins out there, some even hiding in plain sight. It's all about keeping your eyes peeled and knowing what to look for. And the best part? I'm here to help guide you through the wild world of coin collecting, so, there you have it. The 1988 no mint mark penny is a treasure waiting to be found, and if you've got one, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. But even if you don't worry, you can still find coins worth a lot of cash if you know where to look. If you've enjoyed learning about this hidden gem and want more tips on finding coins that could make you rich, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of insider info to share, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Who knows, maybe the next coin you find could be worth more than you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, where we dive into more money-making tips from your change jar. You're rummaging through a jar of pennies, not thinking much of it, right? Well, hold on tight because that seemingly ordinary penny could be hiding a secret worth a whopping $1.3 million. Yep, you heard me right. Now, before you go running to your coin jar, let me take you through the fascinating story behind the legendary 1973 Abraham Lincoln penny and why it could make you a millionaire. But don't worry, you won't need to dig into every corner of your couch to find it, that's all coming up, so stick around. Alright, first things first. You might be thinking, wait a minute, I've seen a ton of pennies from 1973. Is this for real? Well, you're not alone. For most of us, a penny is just a penny, right? But let me tell you, not all pennies are created equal. In fact, some pennies can be worth way more than their face value. Here's where it gets really interesting. The 1973 Abraham Lincoln penny in question is no ordinary penny. To the untrained eye, it might look like any other coin with Lincoln's face on it. But it's got a little secret: no mint mark. That's right, no mint mark. In case you're not sure what that means, the mint mark is that tiny little letter, or lack of it, on the coin that tells you where it was made. Most of us probably just ignore it, but on rare occasions, that mint mark, or the lack thereof, can turn a coin into a goldmine. The crazy part: the 1973 penny without a mint mark is so rare, it's being valued at $1.3 million. Yeah, I can hear you thinking, what am I doing with my life? I'm tossing pennies left and right like they're nothing. I totally get it. In fact, I had a pretty hilarious moment with pennies once. I was cleaning out my old piggy bank, and I tossed what I thought were worthless pennies into the coin jar. Little did I know, I had a rare 1955 double-die penny chilling in there. Imagine my surprise when I found out it was worth a few $100, but no, not $1 million. Still, it taught me a valuable lesson: don't sleep on your pennies. Now, the question is, how do you even know if you have one of these valuable 1973 pennies? Well, first off, you want to check for that missing mint mark. Coins from that year were supposed to have one, a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But some super rare ones slipped through the cracks without a mint mark at all. If you have one of those, congratulations, you might just be holding on to a small fortune, but don't start getting all excited and thinking every penny from 1973 is going to make you a millionaire. You still need to check the condition of the coin. A coin in pristine condition is always worth more, but one that's worn down or heavily damaged is probably not going to fetch much. So, if you're holding on to a 1973 penny with no mint mark, take a good look. Is it shiny enough to get you excited? Or is it a bit more distressed? A little bit of research and professional grading will help you figure out just how much it's worth. So, before you toss your pennies into the jar or the wishing well, remember this: not every coin is as meh as it seems. That little penny could be hiding a big treasure. And the 1973 Lincoln penny with no mint mark? Well, that one's a rare gem worth potentially $1 million. Don't say I didn't warn you. If you want to keep discovering more hidden treasures in your coin collection, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that are actually worth your time, and maybe even some serious cash. We're talking about a penny that could make you a millionaire. Yep, you heard me right, a penny. Not just any penny, though. This one's so rare, it's worth a whopping $1.4 million. That's not a typo. If you're thinking, a penny? Really? Trust me, you're going to want to keep watching. You may have one in your pocket right now without even knowing it. So, let's dive into the details of what makes this Lincoln penny so special, and how you can spot it. Stick with me, this could be your lucky day. First, let's talk about the regular Abraham Lincoln pennies you've seen in your pocket for years. They're just your everyday, run-of-the-mill coins. They have that famous portrait of Abe on the front, and on the back, you've got the trusty 1-cent design. If you've ever tossed one of these pennies into your jar of change, you're not alone. But here's the kicker: not all Lincoln pennies are created equal. Now, if you're walking around thinking that every Lincoln penny is worth the same, let me tell you, you could be sitting on a goldmine without even realizing it. Here's the coin you want to look out for: it's a 2013 Lincoln penny. Wait, didn't you just hear 2013? Yes, I did. You see, this penny has a twist that it was struck without a mint mark. For those of you who might not be up to speed on mint marks, basically, the mint mark is that little letter stamped on the penny that tells you where it was made. Normally, you'll see D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. But in this case, the 2013 penny was made without any mint mark at all. Why does this matter? Well, when coins are struck without a mint mark, it's a huge deal in the numismatic world. There was a mistake made at the US Mint, and because of that error, only a few of these 2013 Lincoln pennies were released into circulation. Not many. Like, not even close to many. That rarity is what drives up the value. The ones without the mint mark are highly sought after by collectors. People are willing to pay top dollar for a coin that was produced in such limited numbers, and we're talking upwards of $1.4 million if it's in mint condition. Crazy, right? You're probably checking your pocket change right now, aren't you? But here's the thing: not every 2013 Lincoln penny is worth that much. The condition matters. It's like buying a used car. If it's been tossed around in your back pocket for a year, it's probably not going to fetch that top price. But if you've got one that's in great condition, or even better, uncirculated, you could be looking at a serious payday. So how do you know if you've got one of these bad boys? Well, first, check the mint mark area. If it's missing, that's a good sign. Then, inspect the coin for its condition. Is it shiny? Are the details on Abe's face crisp and clear? If yes, congratulations, you may have a treasure on your hands. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have a 2013 penny without a mint mark. And you might be right, or you might be wrong. Because here's the thing about coin collecting: it's all about paying attention to the details. It's like when I was hunting for rare Pokemon cards as a kid. I thought I had all the commons, and then, out of nowhere, I found a holographic Charizard in a random box of cards. Total surprise. Same goes for coins: sometimes, they just show up when you least expect it. Alright, folks, to wrap this up, keep your eyes peeled for that 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. If you find one in good condition, don't just toss it into the jar of loose change. Get it checked out by a professional. You could be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than its face value. And while I can't promise you'll get $1.4 million, I can promise that with a little luck and knowledge, you might just find yourself holding a rare coin that's worth way more than you think. If you want to learn more about other coins worth money, the strategies to spot rare finds, or just general tips on how to start building your own collection, hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future tips that could make you some serious cash. I'll be back with more coin collecting tips and tricks to help you make the most out of your collection. Happy hunting, and who knows, maybe the next time you check your change, you'll be looking at a millionaire making penny. Have you ever rummaged through your pocket change and wondered if you've got a hidden treasure? Well, grab your magnifying glass, because I've got a coin that might just be worth a small fortune. Today, we're talking about the 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny, and no, it's not just another penny. This little guy could be worth a whopping $1.5 million, yeah, you heard that right, $1.5 million. So buckle up, because we're about to dive into some serious coin talk that could change the way you look at your spare change forever. Alright, let's set the stage. You're probably thinking, a penny from 1967. That can't be worth anything special. Well, sit tight, because it actually could be. The 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny, particularly those without a mint mark, is one of those rare finds that can make even the most seasoned coin collector do a double take. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a penny with no mint mark? Well, here's the kicker, most pennies from 1967 had a mint mark to show where they were produced. Those that didn't get one, they're a rarity. Imagine finding a penny with no mint mark today, it would be like finding a four-leaf clover in your backyard. If you do come across one, congratulations, you could be sitting on a tiny goldmine, but before you start diving into every jar of loose change, let me give you a little bit of history. In 1967, the U.S. Mint was going through some changes. The Philadelphia Mint, which typically produced pennies, was busy cranking out a whole lot of them. But in a very rare and freaky twist, a few pennies were struck without the mint mark, and that made them an unexpected anomaly in the coin world. Fast forward to today, and that small mistake has become a massive opportunity for anyone lucky enough to find one. That you might be thinking, okay, but what makes it worth $1.5 million? Well, that's the beauty of rarity. Only a handful of these, mint markless, 1967 pennies are believed to still be out there. The scarcity is what drives the price up, and if one of these pennies were to hit the market today, it could fetch close to $1.5 million at auction. That I know, this sounds too good to be true, right? But it's not just wishful thinking. There's actually proof. Just last year, a 1967 penny with no mint mark went under the hammer for nearly $1.5 million. Imagine having that in your collection. It's like finding a winning lottery ticket tucked into the bottom of your cereal box. So how do you know if your penny is the one? Well, first off, check if there's a mint mark. A penny from 1967 struck in Philadelphia should have no mint mark. If it's there, it's not the one you're looking for. Next, inspect the quality of the penny. If it's in good condition, you're in even better luck. The better the condition, the higher the price, and hey, don't get discouraged if you don't have one sitting around. Finding one of these rare coins is like finding a needle in a haystack, but you can always try your luck and check your spare change from time to time. Plus, you never know what other hidden gems are out there, waiting to make you rich. Coin collecting is all about the thrill of the hunt. Let me share a little story with you. A few years ago, I went through some old coins my grandma had passed down to me. Nothing seemed particularly valuable, just a bunch of worn-out pennies, dimes, and nickels. But then, as I flipped through the coins, one caught my eye. A 1943 copper penny. I immediately Googled it, as one does when they think they've found something valuable, and to my shock, it was worth hundreds of dollars. Not quite $1.5 million, but still a pretty sweet find. Moral of the story: always check your change. You never know what might be hiding there. That humble 1967 penny could be your ticket to the Coin Collector's Hall of Fame and a pretty sweet payday. If you ever come across a penny from 1967 without a mint mark, be sure to treat it like a precious gem, because you might be holding on to something worth a small fortune. If you enjoyed this coin tip and want to learn more ways to make money off your pocket change, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update. I've got more secrets coming your way. Have you ever had one of those "I could be rich" moments while digging through your change jar? You know, when you find a coin that's been sitting around for ages, and you start thinking, what if this thing's worth a fortune? Well, today, I'm going to talk about a penny that could literally be worth more than most houses. We're talking about the 1961 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, before you go tossing your whole stash of pennies into a safe deposit box, let me take you through what makes this one special, and what it could mean for you, especially if you've been holding on to a penny or two from back in the day. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Most of us probably think of pennies as, well, pretty much useless. They're small, they're copper-plated, and they seem to disappear faster than the last cookie at a family gathering. But, there's one penny that's giving all those pennies the side eye and saying, I'm worth a lot more than that. I'm talking about the 1961 D mint mark penny, a coin that could be worth up to $1.6 million today. Now, you might be thinking, what? A penny? For $1 million? Yes, my friend, and I'm not joking. So how does a penny go from just another coin to OMG, that's a house down payment? It's all about rarity and condition. The 1961 D penny itself isn't what's magical. It's the rare, special cases of that penny where minting errors or oddities occurred, making them super valuable. Most of the 1961 D pennies are, well, just pennies. But some, because of misprints, overstrikes, or other minting quirks, became rare enough to fetch a jaw-dropping price. If one of these rare finds happens to land in your lap, you could be sitting on a goldmine. I remember my own coin discovery moment. I was at a family garage sale years ago, digging through a box of old junk, when I came across a small handful of coins. Mostly just old nickels and pennies, but one stood out. It was a penny, dull and worn out like most of the others. I tossed it aside, but my uncle, a self-proclaimed coin nerd, picked it up and took a closer look. Turns out, it was a 1943 copper penny, which is also a rare gem. That moment made me realize how quickly things can change when it comes to coins. What seemed like a piece of scrap metal could actually be the ticket to a small fortune. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, check your pennies. In fact, go ahead and take a good, long look at your change jar. You could be holding on to something worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. Remember, the 1961 D penny isn't your average coin, and if it's a rare one, it could be worth a lot more than you think. Before you go rummaging through your couch cushions, just keep in mind that finding a $1.6 million penny isn't exactly an everyday occurrence. But hey, it's worth taking a look. And even if you don't strike gold with a rare penny, remember this: you could find other coins that are worth something more than face value. It's all about knowing what to look for, and now you've got a pretty good idea. If you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, strategies for collecting, and stories about how people turn loose change into life-changing money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next big find. Who knows, maybe your next penny could be the jackpot. Alright, let's kick things off with a story. Have you ever found something sitting in your drawer or a box, and thought, this is probably worthless, only to discover it's worth a small fortune? That was me about a year ago. I had an old jar of change just gathering dust on my shelf. One day, I finally got around to sorting through it, thinking it was a bunch of random pennies and nickels. But lo and behold, I stumbled upon something that blew my mind, a 1997 D mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. I didn't know it at the time, but this little coin could have been worth upwards of $1.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a single penny could fetch millions. Now, before you start running to the nearest coin jar or diving into your change pile, let me walk you through this crazy coin adventure. We're talking about a very specific penny, and in this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about the 1997 D mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, why it's so special, and how to know if you might be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. Stick around till the end, because trust me, you're not going to want to miss out on this information. Who knows? You might have one of these bad boys lying around. Alright, let's get into it. So, the 1997 D mint Mark penny, what makes it so special? Well, first off, let's talk about the mint mark. You've probably seen those little letters on your coins before, like D or S. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where the coin was made. Most of us have seen a ton of these coins, and you're probably thinking, how on earth could a penny from 1997 be worth $1 million? Here's where it gets interesting. Back in 1997, the US Mint produced a lot of pennies. In fact, millions and millions of them. But in 1997, there was an issue with the minting process that led to a few of those pennies being struck incorrectly. And when I say incorrectly, I mean they ended up with an error that makes them rare, like a printing press mistake, but so subtle that most people missed it. These error pennies are the ones that are valued at a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, there are some pennies out there worth a fortune, and this particular mistake, if you have one, is a gold mine. Now, let's get real for a second. It's not every day you find a coin like this. But here's the trick, you need to know how to spot it. You can't just pick up any old 1997 penny and expect to make a fortune. You've got to look for specific characteristics, and I'm going to give you the rundown so you don't miss out. First, check that mint mark. It has to have the D, which means it was minted in Denver. Next, look closely at the design on the obverse, yeah, the front with Lincoln's face. Some of these coins have a slight doubling of the features. Now, we're talking very, very subtle doubling, but it's there if you know what to look for. It's like the difference between noticing a typo in a book and just glossing over it. If you spot that doubling, you've got something special on your hands. Now, I know you might be thinking, but how do I even know if I have one of these rare coins? Well, the first step is simple, get a magnifying glass or a coin loupe. Don't just eyeball it from across the room. And, if you think you found something special, do some research. There are tons of online communities of coin collectors and experts who can help you verify if you've got a winner. It could be worth the trip to a professional appraiser, but here's a bit of advice from me, be cautious. It's easy to get carried away. A coin that's worth $1.7 million on paper doesn't always sell for that price. The market fluctuates, and while some people have cashed in big time, others have sold their finds for much less. So, before you go setting up your retirement fund on a single penny, do your homework and understand the true value. Okay, so now that I've hopefully got you excited about the possibility of turning your pennies into cash, let me share a little personal anecdote. A few years back, I had no idea about rare coins. I found a coin that I thought was cool and kept it in a jar. Turns out, it was a 1943 steel penny, another rare find. I had no idea at the time, but with a little research, I learned that it was worth a lot more than just face value. If only I had known then what I know now. Moral of the story: you don't want to miss out on a valuable find just because you didn't do a little digging. So, there you have it, the lowdown on the 1997 D mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It's not every day you come across a coin worth millions, but if you're lucky enough to find one, you could be sitting on a serious treasure. And the best part? It could be as simple as checking your pocket change or going through a jar of coins you forgot about. You can't win the coin lottery if you don't even know the game. So, start checking those pennies, get familiar with the rare finds, and who knows, you could be the next big coin collector success story. Before you go running off to search your change jar, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and strategies to help you turn your spare change into something much more valuable. You've got a penny in your pocket that's worth over $1 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's not. In fact, there's a specific penny out there, with a mint mark from 2017, that could have you cashing in on a massive payday. Stick around, because today, I'm going to share with you the story of the 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and why this little coin could turn your pocket change into a small fortune. Alright, let's start from the top. We all know pennies, right? They're the coin we toss into jars, let fall on the floor, or, let's be honest, just leave lying around the house because they're worth so little. But hold on to your seats, because it turns out not all pennies are created equal. Some, like this 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, are worth way more than their face value. So, why is this penny so special? Well, here's where it gets interesting. The 2017 D Mint Mark penny was released as part of the U.S. Mint's regular series of coins. But, get this, a mistake was made in its production. You see, most of these coins were produced in massive numbers, like they always are. But a very limited number were released with a rare, very specific flaw that turned these regular pennies into gold mines for collectors. The value of this penny isn't based on the coin itself, but rather on that rare flaw. When these pennies were first released, no one realized that they would skyrocket in value. In fact, some of these coins have been bought and sold for over $1.8 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1.8 million for a penny. That's more than most of us make in a year, or even in a decade. Now, you might be asking, how the heck do I know if I have one of these rare pennies? Well, it's all about the mint mark and a little bit of luck. The D Mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, and you'll find it on the reverse side of the coin. But the $1 million mistake is tied to a rare error on the coin's design. Some of these pennies have been struck in such a way that they're practically unique, and worth way more than your typical penny. Here's a little funny personal story for you. I remember one time I was digging through my change jar, we all have one, right, looking for loose change to throw into the laundry machine. I had a whole stack of pennies, and just for fun, I decided to check a few of them. Most of them were your run-of-the-mill coins, but I found one that had a mint mark D, and it looked a little different. I wasn't sure if it was the magical $1.8 million penny, but I threw it into a storage box anyway, thinking maybe it was worth a little more than face value. Fast forward a couple of years, and I finally got around to getting that coin appraised. Turns out, it wasn't the $1.8 million penny, but it was worth a little more than I thought. While I didn't hit the jackpot, it's a good reminder that you never know what you've got sitting around the house. But hey, this story just goes to show that even when you think your coins are just pennies, they could be worth a lot more than you think. So, if you've got any 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln pennies sitting around, it's time to dig them out and take a closer look. You could be sitting on a goldmine without even realizing it. The 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that can turn a simple penny into a fortune. It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, it's not always about the big, obvious ones. Sometimes it's the smallest, most unexpected coins that hold the most value. Who knew that a penny could change your life? If you've learned something new today or got a little excited about the possibility of having a treasure in your pocket, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm always here sharing tips on coins worth money, strategies to help you collect, and stories that might just inspire you to go on a treasure hunt of your own. So, get out there, start checking those coins, and you never know, your next find could make you a millionaire.